This video is sponsored by JumpShotTrainer.com. Perfect your jump shot using JumpShotTrainer.com, as their method is proven to increase your shooting accuracy by eliminating all resistance from your offhand. You can use the links in the description box below to learn more. Yo, what is up guys? It's me, Zachary. So an article came out yesterday saying that LeBron's people believe that Brandon Ingram could be LeBron James's Scottie Pippen. And this claim was originally made by Chris Broussard when he said this.
I got some numbers here, and I'm talking to some people close to LeBron. They think a Brandon Ingram could play like a Scottie Pippen role. Now that might sound crazy to some people that just see him as a forward, but last year, you know, Doug, a lot of times the Lakers have felt like he could play point guard.
Right. Now, if you guys have been following the channel over the course of the regular season, then you would know that I'm a huge fan of Brandon Ingram. Oh yeah, I really like Brandon Ingram's game. I think he will be a, no, I don't think, I know that Brandon Ingram will be a star in the NBA. And sure, a few fans, or a decent amount of fans even, kind of have a negative outlook on Brandon Ingram and his potential in the league, and that has a lot to do with when Brandon Ingram came into the league. When he first came to the league, he was drawing a lot of comparisons to Kevin Durant, and when you think of Kevin Durant and when he came into the league as an absolute star. Guy was dropping 20-30 point games like it was nothing. He was a bona fide star from day one. You could just tell that he was going to be great because he was already great. So then you compare Brandon Ingram to that guy, and when Brandon Ingram comes into the league, since you're comparing him to that guy, you would expect him to have the same immediate impact that Kevin Durant had, where he comes in, drops 20-30 points almost on a nightly basis, and you know, it looks like a future guaranteed all-star, superstar, top 5 player. That doesn't happen. Brandon Ingram comes in, he gives you 9.4 points per game. Doesn't shoot the ball particularly well, around 30% from the field, 20-ish something percent from 3. Doesn't look anything like Kevin Durant. So after that, people are disappointed. They're not happy with what they saw out of Brandon Ingram, so he gets written off a little bit. People step off the brakes, and all of a sudden, he's not going to be that guy for the Los Angeles Lakers. However, just because he wasn't a star right out of the gate doesn't mean that he won't be a star. Kobe Bryant, a lot of people's favorite player. How long did it take him to become an all-star? Took him 3 years in the league before he made his first all-star team. Paul George, a guy that a lot of Lakers fans wanted to see play for them this summer. How long did it take him to become an all-star? Took him 4 seasons. Same thing can be said about Jimmy Butler. Also took him 4 years before he made his first all-star team. And if you want to take it even further, looking at those guys, Paul George and Jimmy Butler, and comparing them, they were 20 years old to where Brandon Ingram is right now. When he's 20 years old, Brandon Ingram is light years and light years ahead of both Jimmy Butler and Paul George were at this stage of their careers. Last season, on the year, he was averaging 16 points, 4 assists, and 5 rebounds per game. And Chris Broussard was spot on. During the time of the last couple of months of the season, when Lonzo Ball was dealing with his knee problems, the Lakers turned to Brandon Ingram to basically do everything, to facilitate the offense, to make plays, to score, and also play defense. He did all of those things exceptionally well. He had the most efficient scoring stretch of his career. He looked like a really good playmaker, a really good passer. Not only that, but on the defensive end, he was phenomenal. And I'm not just talking about phenomenal for Brandon Ingram in comparison to the rest of his career. No, he was just flat out phenomenal. Like, if he would have played that way the entire season, he could have possibly been a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year, assuming that the Lakers were overall a better team so he could get that recognition. That's why Magic Johnson, when they were in talks with the Spurs about Kawhi Leonard, they refused to include Brandon Ingram in the trade for Kawhi Leonard. They didn't want to give up a future star, someone who they value extremely highly, just to get Kawhi Leonard. They were like, you know what? I'd rather keep Brandon Ingram, wait till next offseason when Kawhi Leonard becomes a free agent, and go after him. And even if we don't get him, I'm not too upset because I still have Brandon Ingram. Never under any circumstances would you want to trade a young player with as much talent and upside and promise as Brandon Ingram has shown. Now, as far as Brandon Ingram becoming LeBron James's Scottie Pippen, do I think that that's a good comparison or even a fair comparison? If you're talking about in terms of, can Brandon Ingram be the second guy on the Los Angeles Lakers? Is he good enough to be that second bona fide star behind LeBron James? Sure, I say that's 100% possible. I don't see why not. But if you're talking about, will Brandon Ingram have the same impact on LeBron's career that Scottie Pippen had on the career of Michael Jordan, then you really need to chill out here, because once again, this is about to be like Kevin Durant 2.0, because when you bring up the name Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan, what you are doing is saying that Brandon Ingram once again has to have the same impact on LeBron's career that Scottie Pippen had on Michael Jordan's career. And the impact that Scottie Pippen had on Michael Jordan's career is something that no other player can match. Because of Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls were able to three-peat not once, but twice. 6 rings Michael Jordan was able to get because of Scottie Pippen. You can't hold Brandon Ingram to that standard and say, well, because he didn't get LeBron James X amount of rings, he was a disappointment because he was supposed to be LeBron James and Scottie Pippen. That's a terrible standard to hold him to. That's why when I think of DeAndre Ayton, the young kid that just got drafted #1 overall by the Phoenix Suns, I love his game. I think he's going to be a very special player in this league. But over the summer, before he was even drafted, he came out saying that he and Devin Booker were about to be the next Shaq and Kobe 2.0. It's exciting to hear, it's exciting to think about, but that's the last thing that a rookie needs to be saying before he even comes into the league, because now he's trying to put himself on the pedestal of Shaq and Kobe. Not even just himself, but he's also trying to put Devin Booker on the pedestal of becoming the next Kobe Bryant. Those are some awfully big shoes to fill. Let's not act like Shaq and Kobe didn't win back in 2000, 2001, and 2002. So if you're trying to be the next Shaq and Kobe, you have to have the same level of dominance that Shaq and Kobe had in the NBA. And if you don't, you're going to be seen as a bit of a disappointment. Just look what happened to Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins comes into the league, he gets compared to the next Kobe Bryant. Karl Anthony Towns joins him, all of a sudden, they're supposed to be the next Shaq and Kobe 2.0. How did that turn out? Be careful when you put such high expectations upon these young players, because you're just setting yourself up to be disappointed. And that player's legacy is often impacted because of the expectations that we put upon them and that they don't even put upon themselves. So do I think that Brandon Ingram should be compared to Scottie Pippen? No, not in the slightest. Next up though, Joel Embiid just claims that he doesn't care that the Philadelphia 76ers struck out on LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, and Paul George in free agency. The 3 guys that Philly was targeting to sort of complete the process. When my season ended, there was a lot of talk about adding guys. I literally did not really care because I want to get better. I want to be better than those guys that were mentioned, if I'm not already better than them. All right, Joel Embiid, see, you had me on your side completely up until that last part. It's one thing to say that you want to be better than those guys. I can't knock you for having ambition, but to say that you're already better than them, if you're not already better than them, I'll give you Paul George. If I had to pick between you and PG for my team right now, I'm taking you. I'm taking Joel Embiid without even hesitation, no second thought. But Kawhi Leonard and LeBron James, you're talking about the best player in the NBA, and when healthy, was he second or third best player in the NBA. Might need to slow down a little bit there, Joel Embiid. And overall, I can't take this seriously. I can't. The fact that you say you don't care that the Philadelphia 76ers didn't get those guys when you were one of the biggest advocates for bringing especially LeBron James to the Philadelphia 76ers. You were recruiting LeBron James before the season even ended, and hours before LeBron James' decision to join the Los Angeles Lakers came out, you went to Twitter and basically threw a little bit of a hissy fit, saying that the Lakers would always be Shaq and Kobe's team. You were upset, so to say you don't care now, we knew you care. It's okay, but I do want to say that I think the Sixers being snubbed by all of these guys, missing out on all of these key players, will give Joel Embiid that extra motivation this summer to come back even better. And that being said, I'm already really excited to see how much better Joel Embiid comes back this upcoming season, considering this was the first offseason that Joel Embiid has had in his career so far that he's been able to actually develop and work on his game instead of just rehabbing from injuries. And the last thing that we had to talk about today, Drew Hanlon, Markelle Fultz's new trainer, is hyping up Markelle Fultz even more. Earlier this summer, a couple weeks ago, he was talking about that he fixed Markelle Fultz's jumper, that he expects it to be 100% by the start of the season, which is great, but he didn't stop there. As yesterday, Drew Hanlon, once again Markelle Fultz's trainer, said that he expects Markelle Fultz to be an all-star this upcoming season if he can stay healthy.
I literally think that if he's back to 100%, I think he's immediately an all-star. And I know that's a bold statement, but I work with a lot of other all-stars, so I think I have the right to say that.
When hearing that, people are going to say, well, of course he is saying that. Once again, he's Markelle Fultz's trainer. Why on earth would the trainer of Markelle Fultz say anything otherwise than he is turning Markelle Fultz into a superstar? He's trying to gas up his own ego. But here's my response to that. First of all, Drew Hanlon isn't just any regular NBA trainer. He's one of the most sought after trainers in the league. He has a lot of respect amongst fans and players. So he's not going to risk his reputation saying something so outrageous about a player if he doesn't truly believe that it's possible. If he knew that Markelle Fultz would have no shot at making the all-star team this upcoming season, because once again, he's been with him 3 times a day, like he said in his interview, every day of the offseason, watching him, training with him. He knows. So if he knows, why on earth would he say something like this if he thought there was a legit no shot Markelle Fultz would even come close to being an all-star this upcoming season? He would destroy his credibility with stuff like this. So I think you do have to give him some credit here. That being said, will Markelle Fultz actually be an all-star this upcoming season? Let's look at it. Last year, 8 players out of the players that were chosen from the Eastern Conference to participate in the All-Star game were guards, and a handful of those guards will be back next year. You look at Kyrie Irving, John Wall, Bradley Beal, Victor Oladipo. Those 4 guys are guaranteed All-Stars in the Eastern Conference this upcoming season. And then you have other players, the borderline all-stars, that at least 1 or 2 will most likely make it. You got Kyle Lowry, Goran Dragic, and Kemba Walker. At least one of those guys is going to be an all-star. And then you have Ben Simmons, who was this close to being an all-star last year. He's for sure going to make it this upcoming season, no doubt in anyone's mind. And then you have other guys, kind of like Markelle Fultz, who could make it as guards for the first time in their career. Jaylen Brown, Markelle Fultz, assuming that his trainer isn't off the wall here, and then Zach LaVine as well. I'm gonna give him some credit and say that he has potential to be an all-star this upcoming season. So you have all of those players, but all of those guys are only guards. You still have a decent amount of other talent left in the Eastern Conference that are either shoo-ins or more sure things to make it over Markelle Fultz. Let's not act like there's not at least a decent amount of talent in the East. Sure, it's nowhere near the amount of talent that's in the Western Conference, because in the Western Conference, you can make an entirely another all-star team out of the players who were snubbed from the all-star team, but it's not like in the East you're going to be scraping the bottom of the barrel looking for talent. So if I had to place money on Markelle Fultz making the all-star team or not this upcoming season, I'd most likely say no, especially because of what happened to Ben Simmons last year. That guy averaged 17, 8, and 8, and he wasn't an all-star. So for Markelle Fultz to make an all-star team, he'd have to be even better than that. And how much better can you be than 17, 8, and 8 in his first full season playing in the NBA? And now though, enough you wanted it back, so it is back. Question of the day is back, where I ask you guys a question based off what we had to talk about today and go through some of the best responses in the next video. And today's question of the day is going to be this: what do you guys think? How do you feel about Brandon Ingram being LeBron James's Scottie Pippen? Let me know down in the comment section below. If you want your answer featured in tomorrow's video, be sure to use the hashtag question of the day, QOTD, as well as leave a like on this video and be subscribed to the channel with post notifications turned on. And for yesterday's question of the day, after reports came out saying that Kawhi Leonard could go to the Brooklyn Nets or I guess the New York Knicks to form a super team with Kyrie Irving, I asked you guys if you think this is possible, and here's what you had to say. I think New York could land at least one star, maybe two. I also think Jimmy Butler is the most likely to leave out of the three. Kawhi could easily get convinced to stay in Toronto, but odds are that he will leave. And for my dearest Kyrie Irving, he has not said anything about wanting to leave. He also said he wants to be the #1 option on a team, so that's something to think about going into 2019 free agency. Sincerely, a Celtics fan. There's bound to be a new super team to challenge the Warriors, so I wouldn't be surprised. Why would Kyrie leave a 60+ win team? It's the best if he stays Celtics long term. Jimmy will probably leave the Wolves, but the destination is uncertain. Kawhi, on the other hand, is a mystery, as we won't know if he's content with Toronto or not until the end of the season. Kyrie Irving and Kawhi Leonard are both extremely interesting cases here because I feel like they want similar things. They want to be seen as the guy. They want to be able to showcase what they can do in a bigger market. They want that superstar level treatment like we talked about in yesterday's video. So the two of them playing together, it will be interesting to see since they both want to be the guy. However, I will say though that I don't think it will be that much of a challenge. You look at players like Kevin Durant and Stephen Curry. They are both the guy on the Golden State Warriors. There is no first option, there is no second option. It's more of an option 1A, 1B type scenario. And that could be the same thing for Kyrie Irving and Kawhi Leonard, where they're both able to shine and showcase what they can do on a nightly basis. As for Kyrie Irving leaving Boston, the only reason I could see him leaving for New York is because I think he wants to play in New York. If he really wants to go there and be the hometown kid, the hometown hero. Whereas Kawhi Leonard, on the other hand, he's more of a complete mystery. Like always, no one really knows exactly what he wants. We hear LA, but once again, he's a complete mystery. Anyways, remember to leave your answer for today's question of the day down in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications so you don't miss out on future videos. You guys already know that you are the real MVPs, and until next time, I'm out of here. Peace!